Hello, welcome, and we are going to go over today our essay planner. So, our essay planner is something that all of you will complete for each essay we do in class, other than the narrative. Okay, the narrative has its own process, but in the meantime, the essay planner will be completed for every step. It's the first step in every essay. So, it helps us outline our essay and what we're going to do and the quotes that we're going to use to give us direction to move through the process. So here we have our argumentative essay, what it is, what the expectations are, and then down here is the prompt. Now the prompt helps us focus on the direction of the essay, the overall concept of the essay. So today, this specific essay from Unit 1 is our life controlled by fate and destiny? So if I am going to start figuring out my claim, which is the name or the claim or the answer to that question, for this purpose, I'm going to go for yes. Fate and destiny control our lives. Okay, so because I have answered that in this format, now I'm going to look at the focus. The focus is what from the story, my overall focus for this section, am I going to focus on from the lottery or Invictus or any other story I've chosen to help support my claim. Now, if we look again back at this, argumentative essay expectations, it says, you must use the resources from this quarter. You need to provide textual evidence from Macbeth, Oedipus Rex, and one other reading from the texts. So because of that, we know that we need to use Oedipus Rex, we need to use Macbeth, and one other reading. We have recently just finished To Build a Fire, and the first week we read The Lottery and Invictus. So for this purpose, I'm going to choose The Lottery, and I'm going to give an example of Tessie did not want to participate in the lottery, but she was forced to. Okay, so this tells us Tessie was not interested in participating, but because of the town traditions or whatnot, she was forced to. So here, that is my focus. Now I'm going to find two quotes. The argument number 1 and argument number 2 are both arguments with proof. So because of that, we are going to find a quote verbatim, word for word, and put it here. So for time purposes, I'm not going to find a quote, but you can see I would put my quote. It would be an MLA citation, which is followed by the author's last name and the page, paragraph, or line number. Okay. So say I found a quote that supported that Tessie did not want to participate in the lottery, but she was forced to. Okay. That then is my argument 1. Argument 2, another quote. So I am finding two quotes from the lottery from my text. Okay. And those both support why Tessie did not want to participate in the lottery, but she was forced to. And that focuses on, yes, fate and destiny control our lives, because Tessie didn't have any choice. She just had to leave it up to fate, right? So that gives me the first box. I would then follow those directions and go right into Oedipus Rex. And again, find out an example from Oedipus Rex as to why he does not get to make his own choices. He is forced by fate and destiny to follow their lead. So in Oedipus Rex, we know that a prophecy was given and that he was asked what he would like to do, but he would be destroying everything because he would kill his father and marry his mother. He thought that was nonsense, took off, found out that he was later adopted. So what he thought his birth mother and father were not actually his birth father and mother, and ends up marrying Jocasta, which is his mother, his birth mother, and then actually killing his birth father, Laius. So this would be a great example of Oedipus Rex. He marries mother without intention, without knowledge. Let's do without knowledge of her life. Okay, so he didn't know that she was around. He just assumed that he was living with his birth mother, but was not true. Then again, I would find a quote in the text that shows that you are understanding that this is supporting your focus. So Sophocles, page maybe 36, okay? And that quote supports that fate and destiny took over for Oedipus Rex, and that's why he married his mom. Then maybe I find another quote, again, that helps. And this is maybe 71. Okay? So those are my 2 quotes for Oedipus Rex. We just began Macbeth, so you would follow the same format and complete Macbeth as well. Then at the end, your thesis is your claim plus your focus 1, focus 2, and focus 3. That let's see here. Can we get this bigger? There. Equals thesis statement. Okay, so knowing this, now you would combine your claim plus focus 1, focus 2, and focus 3 equals your thesis statement. So here, so far, my thesis statement would be, yes, fate and destiny control our lives through Tessie not wanting to put lack of choice, prophecies made, and something else. So then here I would say, yes, our lives are controlled by fate and destiny because of lack of choice. What did I say for that? Mary is without control of let's see, Mary's mother without knowledge of her life. No control over prophecies. And then you would leave that blank, okay? Because we haven't worked on that yet. Okay, so there is your thesis statement so far. And that is how you complete your essay planner.